We're here to join you to bid goodbye to one of the most formidable warriors of this continent. And I feel especially privileged to represent my country as humble tribute. And I thank those who preceded me for what they also had to say. Ghanaians, especially those familiar with Africa's epic struggle for freedom, justice, and dignity, are greatly saddened by the irreplaceable loss of one of our continent's most inspiring liberation fighters. He was not only a popular and famous liberation fighter, Mugabe was not only a teacher, but most of all, an impressive moral compass. Our enduring affection for Robert Mugabe was equally rooted in the strong bonds of brotherhood that derived not only from his growing up, studying, and teaching in Ghana, but also marrying a Ghanaian lady called Sally Francesca Heffron, the wife of his youth, now interred at the Heroes Acre here in Harare, supported him with youthful passion, energy, and wit as he wrestled his native Zimbabwe from the throes of ruthless colonialism. Though Zimbabwe, unlike most African countries, shed the yoke of colonialism in 1980, through Robert Mugabe's outstanding leadership, the country came to assume a prominent and enviable status globally shortly after attaining independence. Until his demise, President Mugabe had consistently demonstrated his steadfast commitment to our shared vision of the Africa we want, as defined in the Agenda document 2063. His continuous presence and eloquent speeches in important international gatherings such as the African Union summits and the United Nations General Assembly invariably carried echoes of a vision. From his fledgling years as a politician until the twilight of his time, he never lost his oratory skills and sharpness of wit. It is doubtful if his most rabid critics could fault his dialectic deductions and power to convince. He clearly understood the internal and external forces that continue to obstruct Africa's realization of that vision, and courageously did all he could to restrain them. Those who are familiar with the tragedies that have characterized much of Africa's post-independence era will no doubt appreciate how the burning desire of Robert Mugabe to end colonial exploitation earned him the wrath of the same aggressive foreign interests that were responsible for discrediting and destabilizing most of our progressive leaders. Our tears flow for our departed hero, an untiring steward of African progress, a pioneer of Black assertiveness, and an implacable opponent of neocolonialism. We salute his memory as his soul marches on to join the great patriots of our continent. On behalf of my President Nanado, on my own behalf, Your Excellencies, and each and every one of us, all comrades, I would like to offer my heartfelt condolences to Madam Grace Mugabe and the family and the children. Farewell, great one, and rest in peace. I thank you.
Your Excellency, may I thank His Excellency J.J. Rawlings for his comforting words. May I now invite Her Excellency Samia Suluhu, Vice President of Tanzania, to deliver her message. Madam Vice President.
Your Excellency, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Your Excellency, Madam Grace Mugabe, and the family of Mugabe, members, comrades from the ZANU-PF, brothers and sisters from Zimbabwe, Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, Excellencies, former heads of state, fellow comrades and fellow mourners, I stand here on behalf of His Excellency, Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, who so wished to join you and mourn with you today, but couldn't do so due to exigencies of office that could not be delegated. He has asked me to convey on his behalf and on behalf of your brothers and sisters of Tanzania the deepest sympathy and sorrow for the passing of the Africa's true son of the soil, an icon and luminary leader, the late former president of Zimbabwe, Comrade Robert Mugabe. Specifically, he sent his condolences to His Excellency President Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, our dear sister, Her Excellency Grace Mugabe, children, family, members of the people of Zimbabwe, members and the people of Zimbabwe. And he assures you that Tanzania stands by you during this time of great loss. Be assured that your loss is our loss and your pain is our pain. Comrade Mugabe valiantly led the ZANU-PF movement towards the emancipation of the people of Zimbabwe from the grips of colonization and neocolonialism, which won him many friends and equally foes. And most importantly, painstaking land reform that completed the Chimurenga's agenda for the independence of Zimbabwe. Your Excellencies, today as we celebrate the life of Africa's fallen giant, who gave us great pride and confidence, what remains with us is to continue where he ended. Indeed, former President Mugabe's spirit, determination, statesmanship, sense of humor, and ideals in emancipating the region will inspire us forever. Fare thee well, comrade, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. Long live the memory of Comrade Robert Mugabe. Long live the people of Zimbabwe. Wayeta Jako. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
May I thank Her Excellency Samia Sululu for those comforting words. ZRP band, please. ZRP band, please. Thank you. Thank you, ZRP. Thank you. Now, Your Excellency, President Mnangagwa, I proceed to invite His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of South Africa, to deliver his speech. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, dear brother, President Mnangagwa, Your Excellency, heads of state and government, and former heads of state.
Hello, hello. Comrades, can we allow His Excellency to deliver his speech? Comrades,
Pamsoroi, isusu sema Zimbabwe atidaro, ngatinyararei, maZimbabwe ngatinyararei. Iti kune munhu wakagara naye imbonyarara uti shh. Ngatinyararei. Thank you very much. Lingabantu abahle, kasithuleni. Ngatinyararei. Ngatimbonyararai timboteerera kuno.
On behalf of the people of South Africa, I'd like to express my profound condolences to the Mugabe family, to ZANU-PF, and to the people of Zimbabwe on the passing of the founding father of Zimbabwe, President Robert Gabriel Mugabe. President Mugabe was a friend of the African National Congress and the people of South Africa, and he stood by us during our darkest hour. He was unwavering in his support for our liberation struggle. Under his leadership, Zimbabwe and especially ZANU-PF gave both moral and material support to us at a time when our leadership was forced into exile and our people were suffering under the yoke of apartheid. When South Africa became a democracy, President Mugabe was the first African head of state to be received by President Nelson Mandela. President Mandela paid tribute to him by saying the people of Zimbabwe and you in particular deserve our profound gratitude for the role you played in the national liberation effort, both as members of the OAU and in your capacity as the leader and the chair of the frontline states. This was indeed a fitting tribute. He was a committed Pan-Africanist, unwavering in his belief and destiny and fortunes of Africa. Above all, and of all this, we are both clear, he was an African hero. We'd like to thank President Mugabe and the people of Zimbabwe for the contribution they made to our struggle. We remember with respect the legacy of President Mugabe and the sacrifices that he personally made. We are grateful for this support, and we would like to say to the people of Zimbabwe, in the past 2 weeks, we as South Africans have been going through a challenging period. We have had acts of violence erupting in some parts of our country, some of which was directed at nationals from other African countries. This has led, as I can hear you are responding to the deaths and injuries of a number of people, some of whom were nationals from other countries, and the majority were South Africans. I stand before you as a fellow African to express my regret and to apologize for what has happened in our country. What has happened in South Africa goes against the principles of the unity of the African people that President Mugabe and President Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, and the great leaders of our continent stood for. I stand before you, fellow Zimbabweans, fellow Africans, to say we are working very hard to encourage all our people in South Africa to embrace people from all African countries. Your Excellencies, I would like to thank you for the support that you have offered us as South Africans during this difficult time. I would like to state it here and now that South Africans are not xenophobic. South Africans are not against nationals from other countries. We welcome people from other countries, and we are going to work very hard that we encourage and promote social cohesion of all the people of South Africa, working and living side by side with people from other parts of our continent. This we shall do because we want to embrace the spirit of unity that President Mugabe worked for throughout his life. And today we pay tribute to him and we say, Fambai Zwakanaka Kushungo, Hamba kahle, ulale ngoxolo, Kushungo. Thank you very much for giving me this time.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, for your comforting words. May I now invite the former President of Namibia, His Excellency, Dr. Sam Nujoma, to deliver his message. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies, the beloved Mugabe family, Your Excellency Emerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and the entire beloved nation of Zimbabwe. Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Excellencies, former Heads of State and Government, Honorable Ministers and Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, members of the diplomatic corps, fellow monarchs, comrades and friends. We are gathered here to pay our respect to a great freedom fighter, Comrade Robert Mugabe, who made a great contribution to the total liberation of our continent. I remember here in Zimbabwe, there was a colonial oppressor, Ian Smith, who claimed at one point that there will be no independence in Zimbabwe, not even in his lifetime. But Comrade Mugabe and all ZANU-PF combatants engaged this man and defeated him at the battlefield. Today, we are all happy that Namibia and the rest of Africa are free forever. I wish you, all of you, to strength, and I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Sam Nujoma, for those comforting words. May I now invite Her Excellency Ines Maria Chapman War, the Vice President of the Council of State and Ministers of the Government of Cuba, to deliver her message. Madam Vice President.
Thank you. Su Excelencia, compañero Emerson Mangana, Presidente de la República de Zimbabue.
His Excellency, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe.
Familiares del expresidente Robert Mugabe.
Relatives of late President Robert Mugabe.
Jefes de Estado y de Gobierno presentes.
Heads of state and heads of governments in this encounter.
Jefes de delegaciones.
Heads of delegations.
Ministros y otras autoridades zimbabuenses.
Ministers and other Zimbabwean authorities.
Querido pueblo de Zimbabue.
Dear people and esteemed people of Zimbabwe.
Compañeras y compañeros.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Tengo el honor, el alto honor de representar en este sentido acto al gobierno y pueblos cubanos para hacerle llegar al hermano pueblo y al gobierno de Zimbabue las más sentidas condolencias por el fallecimiento del expresidente, querido compañero Robert Mugabe, líder histórico africano, padre fundador de esta nación y entrañable amigo de Cuba, las cuales hago extensiva a sus familiares.
I'm highly honored to represent in this encounter the government and the people of Cuba to convey to the broader country of Zimbabwe and the government of this same country the deepest condolences for the passing away of President Comrade Robert Mugabe, historical leader of Africa, founding father of this nation, and close friend of Cuba. And I take these condolences as well to the relatives of the late president.
El expresidente Mugabe fue un apreciado amigo de Cuba y del líder histórico de la Revolución Cubana, el comandante en jefe Fidel Castro Ruz.
Former President Mugabe was a very good friend of Cuba, and he was also a good friend of the historical leader of the revolution, Commander-in-Chief Fidel Castro Ruz.
Ambos líderes compartieron innumerables momentos en la lucha común por la independencia de nuestros pueblos y por la libertad y soberanía del querido continente africano.
Both leaders shared a number of moments in this common struggle for the independence of our peoples, for the freedom and sovereignty of this loved African continent.
¿Cómo no recordar en estos momentos los heroicos días de la lucha del pueblo de Zimbabue por lograr su definitiva libertad e independencia del colonialismo, donde el papel que jugó el compañero Mugabe será eternamente recordado como un ícono de la libertad de su querido pueblo?
We are not to forgotten at this moment the heroic days of the struggle of the people of Zimbabwe to achieve its total freedom, in which Robert Mugabe played an important role that shall be eternally remembered as an icon of freedom for this beloved people.
El pueblo cubano siempre estuvo al lado de Zimbabue en este empeño, que tuvo una lógica continuidad después de lograda la independencia, en la cooperación que modestamente brindamos a la construcción de esta nación. Cerca de 2,000 jóvenes zimbabuenses se graduaron en Cuba en las más diversas especialidades en las universidades cubanas, y cientos de profesionales de mi país han pasado por Zimbabue para brindar sus conocimientos, experiencias y así aportar nuestro grano de arena a la construcción y desarrollo de este hermoso país.
The Cuban people was always next to Zimbabwe in this work, and this was continued after the independence was achieved in the cooperation that we, Cuba, in all modesty, share with you to build this nation. About 2,000 Zimbabwean youth have been graduating in Cuba in the different specialties in our universities. And 1,000 professionals from my country has been to Zimbabwe to share their knowledge and expertise and to contribute in the building and development of this sister nation.
De igual forma, el pueblo zimbabuense y el querido amigo Mugabe personalmente estuvieron siempre al lado de Cuba en nuestra histórica lucha contra el bloqueo económico, comercial y financiero impuesto por el gobierno de Estados Unidos contra nuestro pueblo y en todas las batallas que ha tenido que librar el pueblo cubano en los últimos 60 años.
Likewise, the people of Zimbabwe and our beloved friend Mugabe worked together with Cuba in the struggle against the economic, commercial, and financial blockade that have been imposed by the United States to our people. And he worked together with us in all the struggles that have been fighting by the people of Cuba in the 60 last years.
Nuestro pueblo siempre recordará con cariño y agradecimiento la presencia del camarada Mugabe en las honras fúnebres de nuestro querido comandante en jefe, Fidel Castro Ruz, cuando todo nuestro pueblo y los amigos de Cuba despedimos al compañero Fidel.
We always remember all the position of President Mugabe in the funerals for our Comandante en Jefe Fidel Castro Ruz, when all our people and friends of Cuba gave a farewell to our Comandante Fidel.
Por eso hoy aquí estamos, junto al hermano pueblo zimbabuense, para despedir a su querido líder y ratificarle la indestructible solidaridad y hermandad de Cuba para continuar por nuestros caminos, como una forma de honrar la memoria de nuestros líderes y los deseos de nuestros pueblos.
That's why we are here today, to say goodbye to our friend and to ratify the unbreakable solidarity and brotherhood between Cuba and Zimbabwe that shall continue with new paths and to honor our leaders and our peoples.
Una vez más, reciba el pueblo zimbabuense, su gobierno y los familiares del querido camarada Mugabe las más sentidas condolencias de nuestro pueblo cubano, que siempre será un hermano de Zimbabue, en la seguridad que siempre tendremos en la memoria al querido camarada Robert Mugabe.
Once again, may the people of Zimbabwe receive, together with the government and all the relatives of our beloved comrade Mugabe, the deepest condolences of the people of Cuba that shall always be the sister nation of Zimbabwe, and we shall always keep in our minds comrade Robert Mugabe.
Viva la indestructible amistad entre Cuba y Zimbabue.
Long live the unbreakable friendship between Cuba and Zimbabwe.
Gloria eterna al camarada Robert Mugabe.
Eternal glory and rest in peace, comrade Robert Mugabe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for those comforting words, Your Excellency Vice President Wu. As we continue to receive messages, may I now invite Mr. Gu Shenzhou, the special envoy from China, to deliver his message. Mr. Gu Shenzhou, sir.
猛男加古瓦总统，各位政要、女士们、先生们，我非常荣幸作为中国国家主席习近平的特使，出席津巴布韦前总统孟加巴贝先生的葬礼。习近平主席已于第一时间向猛男加古瓦总统发来念电，电文全文如下。
Your Excellency, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, Your Excellencies, distinguished dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to come here as Special Envoy of His Excellency President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China to attend the state funeral of the late former President Robert Gabriel Mugabe. After learning of the unfortunate passing of Mr. Mugabe, President Xi immediately sent a message of condolences to President Mnangagwa. Here, Please allow me to read it to you.
今续穆加贝前总统不幸逝世，我谨代表中国政府和中国人民，并以我个人的名义，对此表示沉痛的哀悼，向你并通过你，向津巴布韦政府和人民以及穆加贝先生亲属致以诚挚的慰问。
It is with great sadness that I learn of the unfortunate passing of former President Robert Mugabe. I wish to express, on behalf of the Chinese government and people, as well as in my own name, deepest condolences and sincere sympathies to Your Excellency, and through you to the government and people of Zimbabwe and to the bereaved family.
穆加贝先生是津巴布韦和非洲杰出的政治家和民族解放运动的领导人，生前多次访华，为推动中津、中非友谊合作做出了卓越的贡献。他的逝世是贵国人民的巨大损失，也使中国人民失去了一位老朋友、好朋友。
Mr. Mugabe was an outstanding statesman and leader in the national liberation movement of Zimbabwe and Africa. He visited China many times and made remarkable contribution to the friendship and cooperation between Zimbabwe and China and between Africa and China. His passing is a great loss for the Zimbabwean people. Moreover, the Chinese people are also deprived of an old and good friend.
中方珍视中津兄弟般的传统友谊，愿同津巴布韦政府和人民一道，继续扩大和深化双方各领域的合作，推动中津全面战略合作伙伴关系不断向前发展。宣读完毕。
China cherishes its long-standing brotherly friendship with Zimbabwe. We stand ready to work with the government and people to further expand and deepen cooperation across the board and make steady progress in our comprehensive strategic partnership of cooperation. That is the end of the message. I thank you.
Thank you for those comforting words, Mr. Gu Shengzhu said. May I now invite His Excellency Nikolai V. Krasnikov, Ambassador of Russia to Zimbabwe, to deliver his message. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, the Mugabe family, the people of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Your Excellencies, heads of states and governments, distinguished elders and leaders, comrades. On behalf of the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, and the people of Russia, I extend the deep condolences on the passing away of Comrade Robert Mugabe, the founding father and the former president of the Republic of Zimbabwe, a national hero. Comrade Mugabe has led his people to independence and forth on along the turbulent road of socio-economic progress. He has become an icon of Africa liberation struggle, a beacon of light for those in the whole world who fight oppression. In Russia, he will always be remembered as a staunch supporter of developing the deep-rooted cordial relations between our nations that, under the new dispensation, has strengthened for the mutual benefit of our people. The legacy of Comrade Mugabe lives on as the government of the Russian Federation firmly stands by the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, which delivers necessary reforms and freedoms inside the country, despite the illegitimate and brutal sanctions imposed from the outside. May the soul of Comrade Robert Mugabe rest in the eternal peace, and long live Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Your Excellency Krasnlikov. Sir, Zetra-P choir, please. Oh, band, sorry. Zetra-P band. Choir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tinokutendai kwaya, siyalibonga bekwaya. It is my privilege and honor at this juncture of our proceedings to invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, to address the mourners. Your Excellency, sir.
Our Director of Ceremonies, the Minister of Home Affairs, Heritage, Ambassador Matema, the bereaved Mugabe family, the First Lady Amaxila Mnangagwa, in absentia, Honorable Vice President, General Retired Dr. Chiwenga and Amai Chiwenga, Honorable Vice President, Retired Colonel Cassidy Mohadi and Amai Mohadi, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Excellencies, former Heads of State and Government, Prime Ministers and Deputy Prime Ministers and special envoys who are present, the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly of Zimbabwe, Advocate Jeff Mdenda, President of the Senate, Honorable Chinomona, the Chief Justice, Honorable Justice L. Malava, members of the Politburo and Central Committee, members of the Diplomatic Corps, dignitaries and delegations from different parts of the world, representatives of our political parties here in Zimbabwe, war veterans, war collaborators, ex-detainees here present. My fellow mourners, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, on Friday, 6th September 2019, a dark cloud loomed over and enveloped our country when the founding father of independent Zimbabwe, our revolutionary icon, statesman, leader, wartime commander, and former president, Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe, passed on at a hospital in Singapore. A giant tree of Africa has fallen. Indeed, the bold, steadfast, and resolute revolutionary Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe is no more, taken away from us, the people he fought hard to free, liberate, and empower us. Taken away from a continent into which he was born, a continent he loved, inspired, and sought always to inculcate a sense of pride, independence, and freedom, seeking always to carry on the torch of his generation, a torch of heroic nationalism, patriotism, sacrifice, unity, and freedom. Thanks to Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe and his rare breed of Pan-Africanists, nationalists, and freedom fighters, the once shackled Africa is forever free. Today, Zimbabwe is mourning the demise of a great son of the soil, a visionary and champion of our empowerment. Today, Southern Africa mourns the sad loss of a frontliner. Today, Africa weeps, grieving over the loss of a true Pan-African. Our motherland is in tears. Our region is in grief and our continent is in sorrow. Above all, a family is stricken and in deep sorrow. On behalf of the government and people of Zimbabwe, the ruling parties and PF, the party of our late founding father, and indeed also on behalf of all the progressive political parties, may I yet again convey my deepest heartfelt condolences to the Mugabe family, especially Amai Grace Mugabe and the children on this sad bereavement. We emphasize with you, it is our loss together. Allow me to thank the former First Lady, Her Excellency Amai Grace Mugabe and the family for looking after and caring for our commander during his illness, right through to the end. The fortitude, commitment, and love you exemplified is admirable and should forever be emulated. Tinotenda mai siyabonga mama. Be rest assured that you will continue to have my support and that of my government in these moments of grief. Comrades and friends, the late founding father, Comrade Mugabe, was a great scholar, a thinker, a teacher, and above all, a true African. He taught a generation, led a nation, inspired a continent, spoke for the oppressed, and defined the politics and economics of an epoch. The man who lies before us was for years our leader, our commander, mentor, and our president, both in the party and in government. Among the monarchs gathered here are many fellow comrades from the region and continent and the world over, who worked and fought alongside our dearly departed father. They are elder statesmen, presidents and prime ministers, great men and women, young and old, as well as dignitaries from all corners of the world, pulled here by the demise of this colossal comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe. Today, we all grieve together, filling the void he has left behind. We are humbled by your presence here to mourn with us. We are equally comforted by the many more who could not be with us physically, but sent moving tributes and expressed their deepest condolences. For many years and generations to come, we shall continue to draw inspiration from the life, the leadership, the courage, valor, and the bravery of this great man we hear fondly called Gushungo, Gushungo, Gushungo. A true statesman who resolutely defended our country throughout his life. The founding president of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Mzee Kenneth David Kaunda, and Comrade Mugabe were the two only survivors from the generation of leaders of the frontline states, the rest having passed on, such as the late Comrades Agostinho Neto of Angola, Sesretse Khama of Botswana, Samora Moses Machel of Mozambique, and Julius Mwalimu Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania. Now, Mzee Kenneth David Kaunda remains alone. May the good Lord continue to watch over him. These gallant men will forever remain the symbol of Africa's struggles for independence and statehood. It is now incumbent on us who remain in the land of the living to carry on the rich heritage they bequeathed to us. I want to thank you all who continue to console our nation, sharing our grief. Your presence in such huge numbers today and your kind words of comfort from across nations and continents is solemn and a strong statement. A statement which exposes a lie heavily sponsored by a retrogressive narrative falsely framing the late comrade Mugabe, giving him many false names, routinely and systematically vilifying him. But today, the truth is laid bare and open. We honor and remember our late African icon in our special own way, demonstrating that he had many friends, allies, and followers. As he moves on from this life into another, his star rises. It shines high and bright. We who remain shall continue to hear his rich, brave, defiant, and inspiring voice, which we grew accustomed to on various international platforms beyond his grave, encouraging and warning us to be vigilant and astute, always guarding and protecting our freedom, our independence, and indeed our God-given resources. As Africa moves further towards integration and economic prosperity, let us all stand ready to take up the cause which the generation of our late commander fought for. Let us boldly play our part in setting the wrongs of the world right. We must continue to challenge an unfair world, opposing injustice, racism, and all forms of oppression of men by men. As Zimbabwe, we shall ride on the education and high literacy levels bequeathed to us by our late great teacher and educator. As a visionary, he understood the importance of a solid education, as well as science and technology in the future world. As Africa, let us find our niche within the fast unfolding fourth industrial revolution, leveraging on our youthful populations, abundant, untapped natural resources, and expansive combined market. We dare not be left behind. Our destiny is in our hands. The late Comrade Mugabe and other founding fathers of our continent played their part. Let us now play our part. Comrades, the policies of our late revolutionary icon with regards to peace and security were not only defining in ensuring the territorial integrity of our great country, but had a far-reaching impact on the region and the continent as a whole. His strong stance on the need to protect and preserve African independence was evident within the frontline states during the fight against apartheid and in the management, prevention, and resolution of conflicts on the continent at large. To this day, the esteemed reputation of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces on the international peace and security platform is evident by their successful participation in various United Nations missions are a result of the unquestionable leadership of our late former president. As Africa boldly operationalizes the African Continental Free Trade Area, let us be emboldened by the ideals of the late Comrade Mugabe, who was one of the consistent champions of African unity, industrialization, intra-Africa trade, as well as regional and continental integration. Without peace and security on the continent, sustainable economic development will be elusive. Let us therefore, as children of this continent, protect the love, the peace, the harmony, and the unity that our founding fathers worked so hard to attain. As Africa rises, booms, and takes its rightful place as a powerhouse on the world arena, there is no place for hate, division, and disunity among us within the continent. This was the legacy the late Comrade Robert Mugabe imparted and leaves behind for us. Your Excellencies, heads of government, comrades and friends, as we mourn this great son of Africa, we also remember and celebrate his tenacious and fearless adherence to principles. Quoting the late Kwame Nkrumah, he constantly reminded us that, and I quote, principles should never be sacrificed on the altar of expediency, end of quote. Under the leadership and guidance of our iconic leader, we fought for democracy and universal adult suffrage. My government will continue to consolidate, deepen, and entrench democratic tenets, constitutionalism, and the rule of law, always guiding our peace, our unity, and our stability. Beyond political independence, he boldly tackled the age-old national question that is of our land, which had been occupied by settlers for over a century. To him, this was the grievance of all grievances of our people. As a result of his unflinching stance, the land has now been reunited with the people, and the people have now been united with their land. Today, over 665,000 families have benefited from the land reform program, which our revolutionary icon led from the front. Allow me to state that our land reform will never be reversed. It is sacred, complete, and finished. We remain firm and unshakable on this matter. Now the challenge for us is to be productive as we modernize and mechanize our agricultural processes. We must equally use our land sustainably, be it in agriculture, mining, tourism, so that we bequeath to we bequeath it to our future generations. Distinguished guests, comrades, and friends, our late former president challenged a faulty world where mighty selfish thought itself right. He challenged the great powers and the deep vested global interests. Our great leader asserted a key principle of the United Nations Charter, which asserts the sovereign equality of nations and proclaims the inalienable rights of nations, big and small, strong and weak. For that boldness, he was repaid through illegal, ruinous, and spiteful sanctions, which our country languishes under to this day. As we bid our founding father farewell, our resolve as a people is not broken. More than ever before, we are determined to grow our economy and improve the quality of life of our people. We are moving our country forward along the path of sustainable development towards a modern, industrialized, and prosperous society, free from poverty and corruption. Indeed, our success is inevitable, building on the foundations laid by our veteran leaders, such as the late Comrade Mugabe. We will constantly reform and improve our social, economic, and political systems and institutions. Putting the interests of our great country first, we will continuously reconcile the national and global realities, informed and guided by the ever-changing aspirations of our people. Zimbabwe is open for business. We are in transition and welcome investments. In doing so, we seek to buttress and augment our sovereign independence through partnerships founded on mutual respect. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, the heritage left us by our founding father is that of a peaceful world where nations trade and cooperate for the collective good and a shared future. My government shall play its part in the achievement of world peace, as well as an empowered, integrated, and economically prosperous Africa. All guns on the continent must be silenced. Our people must have adequate food and shelter, health, water, and sanitation. The women, the youth, and those with disabilities must be empowered and have equal access to opportunities so that they thrive and realize their full potential in their mother country. Under the Second Republic, we announced the policy of engagement and re-engagement. The former to foster relations with countries we had not related to in the past, and the latter in respect of those nations which had disengaged with us. Our arms remain stretched out with a genuine heart of friendship and cooperation. There is no place in our modern world for unilateral punitive sanctions imposed in pursuit of selfish interests, undue influence, and colonial time expansionism. As we mourn our revolutionary icon, we call for the unconditional and immediate lifting of the sanctions imposed on us. We invite the world to wake and walk with us into a brighter future for our people, our region, and our continent. A Zimbabwe free of the albatross of sanctions is indeed of greater benefit to the world. We thank SADC, the African Union, and the progressive world for standing with us throughout these years of immense hardships under sanctions. We stand emboldened by the recent declaration by SADC, setting aside the 25th of October as a day to call for the unconditional removal of the illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe. May the world honor the late Comrade Mugabe by ensuring that sanctions encumbering Zimbabwe are immediately removed. We say, give our country a rebirth and a new start. Remove sanctions now. We do not deserve them. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, comrades, and friends, allow me once again to thank you all, you who have come to mourn with us and give our founding father and former president such a resounding send-off. Zimbabwe will forever remember this grand gesture of solidarity and friendship. We will continue to count on you, your support, in our quest to leapfrog our development, grow our economy, and improve the quality of life of our people. Though we may be praised on every side, we are not crushed. Although perplexed, we are not in despair. Tomorrow is a brighter day. Weeping may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. As we say our goodbyes to our late great national hero and the son of the continent, Zimbabwe shall always stand with Africa and for what is right. This is our tribute to our great liberator, founding father, teacher, and empowerer, the late Comrade Gabriel Mugabe. As we prepare for his interment, we continue to pray that the Almighty God rests his soul in eternal peace. We shall remain guided by the Mugabe family as we go forward. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, choir. Thank you, choir. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the comforting and inspiring speech. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, it is now time for body viewing by our distinguished guests. As the body viewing goes on, Your Excellency, the choir will sing soft music. Your Excellency, body viewing will be done in the following order. First, former First Lady Amai Grace Mugabe, representing the family. Then comes His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, followed by heads of state, followed by vice presidents, followed by former heads of states, followed by heads of delegation, followed by African Union Commission representative, followed by SADC Executive Secretary, followed by COMESA Secretary General, and then followed the COMESA Secretary General, followed by our service chiefs led by CDF. I thank you. Choir, please. I had said the third dignitaries for the board viewing will be heads of state and their excellencies, the prime ministers who are among us. Thank you very much. Siyabonga, tinotenda. Choir, excuse me, please, choir. Leaders, I'm advised that leaders of other political parties who are here with us can also do the board viewing. Leaders of other political parties who are here can also participate in the board viewing. Thank you. May we all rise.
We are now seeing the parade preparing for the last respect. The last and highest form of respect is a national salute, where we will see the parade presenting arms, and at the same time, the Zimbabwe National Army Artillery Brigade delivering 21 gun salute, while the Air Force of Zimbabwe, K-8 jets from number 2 Squadron execute a fly past.
Allow me to express my gratitude to His Excellency Theodoro Obiang Nguema Basago for his comforting words. In accordance with the program, Your Excellency, may I at this juncture invite His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, the President of Kenya, to deliver his message. Your Excellency, sir. Your Excellency, it would appear the music interlude, they are not yet read. Your Excellency, allow me to express my gratitude to His Excellency Theodore Obiang Wema Basago, for his comforting words. In accordance with the program, Your Excellency, may I at this juncture invite His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, the President of Kenya, to deliver his message. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency Emerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Mrs. Grace Mugabe, and the family of the late Robert Gabriel Mugabe, Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, Excellencies, former heads of state and government, distinguished heads of delegation, and you, the great people of Zimbabwe, I join you today, Your Excellency, and the people of the Republic of Zimbabwe to bid farewell and to celebrate the life of an African liberation icon, the founding father of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and an elder statesman of our African continent, the late Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe, who passed on the 6th of September this year. On behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of Kenya, and on my own behalf, I extend my deepest and most heartfelt condolences to you, Your Excellency, and through you to Mrs. Grace Mugabe, the entire Mugabe family, and to the great people of the Republic of Zimbabwe, following the demise of the father of the nation. Comrade Mugabe will be remembered as a Pan-Africanist and a great icon of African liberation who selflessly dedicated his life to the emancipation of Zimbabwe and Africa. He was a visionary leader and a relentless champion of African dignity. The late President Mugabe has left an indelible mark in the history of Zimbabwe and the African continent at large through his political astuteness and zeal for the economic and political liberation of Africa. The onus is now on us to keep the hope alive and deliver on the dream of a truly free and prosperous Africa. That is the most befitting tribute we can pay to the departed African statesman. The late Comrade Mugabe was an embodiment of the Pan-African spirit, offering immeasurable assistance and solidarity to many other African countries in their struggles to end colonial rule and apartheid. As an African leader, as well as an intellectual giant, he was firm and steadfast regarding Africa's quest to address the challenges facing the continent. He was unwavering in his insistence that Africa's problems demanded African solutions. President Mugabe spent a lifetime challenging Africa to find its place and voice in the community of nations and remain faithful to this calling to his last breath. Further, Comrade Mugabe always put Africa's interests first and did not shy away from pushing for the ownership and prudent utilization of African resources for the benefit of the African people. Although he was shunned by some for his fervent belief in the African cause, throughout his life he maintained close working relations with all his African counterparts, visiting many African countries, including Kenya, on several occasions. We remember fondly his last visit to Kenya during TICAD 6 in 2016 that was held in Nairobi. In honor of this gallant son of Africa, I call upon the leaders and the people of Africa to be united and to guard against negative influences and manipulation that may erode our common values and our aspirations for social economic emancipation and prosperity. As African leaders, we should continue to champion African interests as an endearing tribute to the late Comrade Mugabe and other departed icons of the African political and economic liberation struggle. In conclusion, I pray that God grants the family of the late president and the people of the Republic of Zimbabwe the strength and courage to overcome this great loss. May God bless Zimbabwe, God bless Africa, and may the soul of Comrade Mugabe rest in eternal peace. I thank you.
Your Excellency, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta for his words of comfort. May I also now invite His Excellency Brahim Gali, the President of the Sahrawi Arab Republic, to deliver his message. Your Excellency, sir.
فخامة الرئيس إميرسون منانغوا رئيس جمهورية زيمبابوي، أيها الشعب الزيمبابوي الشقيق، أصحاب الفخامة والمعالي والسعادة، رؤساء الدول والحكومات والوفود المشاركة، السيدات والسادة.
Of the sister Zimbabwe, Your Excellencies, Presidents and Heads of Governments here present, ladies and gentlemen.
باسم شعبي وحكومة الجمهورية الصحراوية، اسمحوا لي أن أعبر بداية دق عبارات التعزية والمواساة والتضامن مع الشعب الزيمبابوي الشقيق إزاء هذا المصاب الجلل، ألا وهو رحيل الزعيم روبرت جابرييل موغابي.
On behalf of the people of Sahrawi Republic, allow me to express our most heartfelt expressions of condolences, of mourning, and of solidarity with the brotherly people of Zimbabwe after this great loss of passing away of our leader, Robert Gabriel Mugabe. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
في أجواء الحزن البالغ والتأثر العميق، ها نحن نودع الرئيس موغابي، الأب المؤسس لجمهورية زيمبابوي، وواحدا من أعظم القادة الأفارقة الذين سجلوا حضورهم بحروف من ذهب في معركة إفريقيا نحو التخلص النهائي من كل مظاهر الاستعمار والميز العنصري.
In this moment of deep grief and emotion, we are gathered here today to pay our last respect and farewell to the founding father of the Republic of Zimbabwe and one of the most distinguished leaders of our continent of all times, who have engraved their names in gold letters in the Battle of Africa to eradicate all kinds of colonialism and racial segregation.
سيذكر تاريخ إفريقيا والبشرية جمعاء ذلك الدور المحوري الذي لعبه الرئيس موغابي، المناضل والمقاتل الشرس من أجل الحرية، أولاً في تحرير بلاده زيمبابوي، ثم في تلك الملحمة التي قادتها دول المواجهة ضد الميز العنصري، وذلك الدعم اللامشروط لحركات التحرر الإفريقية.
The African and human history will recall the pivotal role played by President Mugabe as a leader and fearless freedom fighter, Gushongo, for the freedom and liberation for his country, Zimbabwe, and then in the epic battle led by frontline countries against the horrendous apartheid regime. Also, he will be remembered forever for his unconditional support for the African liberation movements in the whole continent.
إننا نتحدث عن زعيم خالد دافع باستماتة منقطعة النظير حتى آخر يوم من حياته عن حرية إفريقيا وكرامتها ووحدتها واستقلاليتها وازدهارها ومكانتها المستحقة في العالم.
We are here speaking about a great immortal leader who strongly defended the freedom, dignity, unity, independence, and welfare of Africa until the last day of his life, for the sake of that Africa occupies its rightful place in the concert of nations.
إن الجمهورية الصحراوية حكومة وشعبا ستتذكر إلى الأبد باحترام، تقدير وامتنان ذلك الموقف المبدئي الذي تبنته زيمبابوي بقيادة الرئيس الراحل روبرت موغابي، وتتشبث به اليوم بثبات ووفاء إلى جانب كفاح الشعب الصحراوي العادل من أجل الحرية والاستقلال.
The government and the people of Sahrawi Republic will remember forever with great respect and affection and sense of gratitude the principled position of Zimbabwe under the leadership of President Robert Mugabe. That same position is still defended today by Zimbabwe with faithfulness and honor towards the just struggle of the Sahrawi people for freedom and independence.
إنه التجسيد الميداني لتلك القناعة الراسخة لدى الآباء المؤسسين وزعماء التحرر في إفريقيا، والتي آمن بها الراحل موغابي كل الإيمان بأن حرية إفريقيا لن تكتمل ما دام هناك شعب على غرار الشعب الصحراوي لا تزال أجزاء من ترابه الوطني ترزح تحت نير الاستعمار والاحتلال.
That historical position was the translation of deeply entrenched belief of African founding fathers, which Mugabe has espoused, which stated that freedom of Africa will never be totally achieved as long as a people like the Sahrawi people is still facing foreign occupation of parts of his national territory.
ونحن نودع أيقونة في مسيرة التحرر الوطني الإفريقي. لا بد أن نندد بالحصار الظالم الذي تتعرض له زيمبابوي وما يخلفه من آثار خطيرة على حياة وأوضاع المواطنين في هذا البلد الإفريقي الشقيق، ونطالب برفعه فوراً لفسح المجال أمام الشعب الزيمبابوي للتمتع بكل الحقوق الاقتصادية والاجتماعية وغيرها التي تكفلها المواثيق والشرائع الدولية.
As we gathered here today to pay our last respect and farewell to an icon of African liberation, we cannot but condemn strongly the unjust embargo imposed on sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe, and we condemn its negative consequences on the daily life of our brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe. We urge its immediate dismantling to open the door in front of the people of Zimbabwe to fully enjoy their legitimate social and economic rights enshrined in the international laws and charters.
نشاطركم أحزانكم كما نشاطر عائلة الفقيد في هذه اللحظات العصيبة معاناتها وفقدانها لأعز البشر إليها، كما نعزي شعب زيمبابوي وإفريقيا على فقدان الرفيق روبرت موغابي، وأصدق التضامن مع الشعب الزيمبابوي ومع شعوب إفريقيا التي فقدت هذه القامة الإفريقية. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وشكرا لكم.
We are here to share your sorrows and your sadness, and we want to once again reiterate our heartfelt condolences to the family of the late President Mugabe, to the Zimbabwean people as a whole, and to the government of Zimbabwe. I want to conclude by paying a faithful tribute to the late Robert Mugabe and to express our deep solidarity with the brotherly people of Zimbabwe. Long live Zimbabwe, long live Africa. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President Brahim Gali, for those comforting words. Can we please have Zetherapy Band, 2 minutes of music, please, interlude. Zetherapy Band. Thank you, Zetrapi Band. In accordance with our program, Your Excellency, President Mnangagwa, may I invite His Excellency J.J. Rawlings, the former President of Ghana, to share with us his message. Your Excellency, sir.